Welcome to Wide Angle Conversations Season 2, an initiative of Life by Design with Taruna Aggarwal, sponsored by Diamond Apple, a unique e-commerce concept to sell aspirational diamond jewelry and accessories. Visit diamondapples.com to create your own diamond story. Talking about stories, Wide Angle Conversations facilitate meaningful discussions with women who have created success for themselves. We unravel their stories, understand their strategies, and uncover mantras that have enabled their success. My guest today is Chuen Chuen Yeo. She is an award-winning executive and leadership coach. She has also authored a book, 8 Paradoxes of Leadership Agility. Welcome, Chuen Chuen. I am so honored to have you on Wide Angle Conversations.
Thank you, Taruna. I'm happy to be here.
You were in the teaching profession before this, before you made the switch to coaching. So what put you on this path? Was there anything, any specific incident or a motivation?
Like many of my clients who went through this phase of uncovering what do they really want to do with their life, what is their main contribution, I went through this stage trying to find out what my purpose, mission, passion were. And coincidentally, during that period of exploration, I chanced upon Dr. John Maxwell's work and attended one of his talks back in 2012. And his message about finding your passion, mission, purpose all really resonated with me. And that was then I decided, even though I was having a lot of fun in school still as a teacher, that I had the capacity to create a larger impact, make more contributions in the domain of leadership. And then that's where I decided to become a professional coach.
You didn't have prior experience in the corporates, but today you are coaching senior leaders. You have recently won the award as Asia's most talented coaching leaders. And as I mentioned, you authored your book. What enabled this success and so quickly? Tell us about the internal, your intrinsic capabilities and the external factors that supported you.
It's rather unusual because the notion of making this a business was very far from my mind. In fact, I was trying to escape from it from a couple of years. And I just wanted to coach, to contribute, to work with people, to make real change, that real contribution to people. And so about 5 to 6 years of my professional coach journey was focused on sharpening the skill of coaching. And that, on hindsight, I think was probably the best part of my journey, because by the time I made up my mind that I am going to be an entrepreneur, all I had to worry about was acquiring the business skills, business know-how. How do I gain all these experiences so that it is relevant to my corporate clients?
So as you said earlier, your passion is to create better leaders for the world. When I'd asked you earlier about your true north, you mentioned that you wanted to leave the world with better leaders. How has this belief been guiding you in what you've accomplished so far and also want to do in the future?
The true north to me is really the foundation. If we talk about great leadership for the world, the definition always evolves. So when I work with clients and having this principle at the back of my mind, I'm always looking out for what is the best. Is there another version of best that can surpass this current version? I think to be a good leader, to be a really great leader, there is that discernment of what is really happening in reality, and is whatever we have put in place still working. And in my personal life, in my personal domain, it's the same as well. I'm always assessing. I may think that, okay, this is the best way to go about any coaching engagement or the best way to run this business. However, to lead myself and lead my business, I have to have that discernment and the agility as well.
When you look at, like when I'm looking at you from the outside, and as we've also mentioned, you quickly attained the success, it all seems very easy. But we know that every journey is riddled with a lot of challenges. What was your most challenging situation in this whole process, and how did you overcome that?
The most challenging, thing, I think, is myself overcoming your own self-limiting belief. For example, as an Asian woman, I think there are many expectations, societal expectations, on what success should be for an Asian woman like me. And that was probably the hardest for me to overcome, because I was struggling with, do I really want this? Or do I want something that society expects of me?
So, right, I hear what you're saying, but did you face it in the working environment, or was it just your own internal belief?
A lot of it was internal. It was the internal battles that were the most difficult to overcome. So this thing about passion, your dream, I truly believe in it, because if it is a true passion, it will keep knocking on your door until it's impossible to ignore. Which happens to me the first few years. I just try to quieten down that voice, and that passion, and try to, I don't know, kill it or something, dampen it. Try to dampen it. But with the voice became louder and louder, and I knew I had to take action. And being a person of growth mindset, even when I was working with my students, when they tell me, oh, I can't do this, I can't achieve this, I always ask them, how would you know if you have not tried? So that question, I think I asked myself too. How would you know until you try? And at that time, even though I was not running a business, as I was not, I wasn't doing this as a business, I was still able to create some really positive changes and transformations in my clients from the United Nations. And these were my success loops, success stories, which gave me the confidence.
So how did that maybe actually become, the real thing? And I mean, would you remember the first client that you went to and approached, and how it went?
I'm reading a book right now, and it's called Find the 21st Person. And for the first yes that you will get, you need to encounter 20 no's.
You have to have the courage to do that.
Exactly. So that journey of putting myself out there, trying different ways to brand myself. I think my personal brand was evolving too. How do I use a social media to broadcast this brand? A lot of trial and error. Of course, I faced a lot of rejections.
Great. So the learning is that you have to keep at it. Was that your learning from the process?
Yes, I think keep at it, keep refining. Every time you get a no, come back and reflect. Why was it a no? What were the parts where you could do better? Was there some part of the conversation? What's my main purpose of the conversation, for example? Have I connected with the client? Was I more concerned about my need or the client's needs? So what were the components that need to be met for a successful relationship to take place?
What I'm constantly hearing from you is that you're really doing a lot of reflection, a self-reflection, and I think you also mentioned somewhere that you always measure the ROI of your activities. That I found that I think is very important, and what you're saying right now as well, that you really have to go and first work on yourself.
One of the leadership principles that I always tell my clients is you cannot give what you do not have. And that is very true for me. The first few times where I tried to reach out and put myself out there into the market, I needed confidence, but I didn't have it. So then I was searching in my history, which are the parts where I can find that confidence from? What were my success stories? How do I share this with prospective clients to help them have that confidence in me? Reflecting, definitely yes. I think the process is really, we are strategizing. Is very similar. I would say it's identical. It's identical to the work that I do with my clients. We have a strategy, but it doesn't mean that it will work. But let's collect that feedback and re-strategize again. And we do not jump into something without making the calculated risk. We always find, okay, what are some opportunities that I have so that I can create a success loop?
Right.
What are the success loops that I need to give me that fuel to keep moving forward?
Right. Of course, as you're saying, it's a lot of work that we have to do on ourselves. But when we get the success, the taste is very sweet as well. And what do we see going forward in the future with your business and yourself? What are your aspirations for the future?
Because currently I'm already working with clients from more than 30 countries, enabled by technology. My primary aim is to increase awareness of what coaching is and what it can do for businesses and leaders, especially now in the complex workplace, the fourth industrial revolution. Personally, in 2020, because I'm bilingual, I have intentions to expand into the Chinese market and really push myself in using Mandarin.
Wow, to be coaching in Mandarin. Wow. And all the best for that.
Thank you.
Yeah. And doing all of this, being an entrepreneur, managing all that you do, all the work that you do, it must be taking a lot of energy. It does take a lot of energy to do that. So how do you take care of your inner self and maintain a balance within work and family?
Yeah, that's a good question. Every conversation I have with clients is a moment for me to reflect on their self-care piece as well. It's a real struggle, especially I have 3 young children. I do not want to miss out their childhood. I think I'm a simple person, so I just take pleasure in simple things. So what I do right now is really block out the times where I can really be with myself, do things, simple things that I enjoy, be it walk in the park or bring the children along and have fun in nature, or just find a nice cafe, good music, and just relax, or just get a good book and working out as well. Of course, the basic things like sleeping early. Yes, I struggle with it sometimes too. But it's always this process of checking myself.
I think earlier in the conversation also we said each one of us has many versions. We may have many dreams. We may be wanting to do a lot of things, from what we are, where we are in our path. So I would like to ask you, if not this, if not coaching, what would you be doing? Or is there anything different?
My first ambition was to be a dentist.
Oh, okay.
That would be a completely different path.
Right.
But I think if I were to choose all over again, very likely I will still choose this, because this is really an area where I am using my strengths.
Okay.
I am able to use the strategic part, the creative part, to find meaning in things that seemingly don't seem to connect on the surface, but I can find those connections very quickly for my clients, you see. So I think this is an area that I'm fully utilizing my top strengths.
Right.
I love deep relationships with people. I don't know if I will learn so much in my life if I had become a dentist first, but it's hard to say. But I think currently I have no regrets. Having taken this path, there's no regrets.
Right. No, I completely understand. Coaching is a very, very fulfilling and a nourishing. It nourishes you as much as it nourishes the client, I think, if that's the attitude that you... And I see that attitude in you, that, you nourish yourself as you are nourishing and guiding the clients. So it is a very, very fulfilling profession, and I would agree with you. You wouldn't want to trade it for anything. So all the best to all of us coaches. May we serve the world and also grow, right? Yes. So that's wonderful. Thank you, Chuen Chuen.
Thank you, Taruna.
Thanks for the wonderful sharing.
Thank you.
Okay.